August 2nd, 216 BC. The fields of Cannae, southern Italy. Dawn breaks over a killing ground. 80,000 Roman legionnaires stand in perfect formation, their armor gleaming in the morning sun. They believe today they will crush Hannibal's army and end this war. They have no idea they're marching into history's most perfect trap. Hannibal has positioned 50,000 Carthaginian soldiers in a crescent formation. His plan is simple and brilliant. Let the Romans push forward into the center, then close the jaws from both sides. Encirclement, annihilation, total victory. The Roman consul, Varro, gives the order. Advance! Thousands of hobnail sandals begin to move as one. The ground trembles. This is the moment Rome will lose 70,000 men in a single afternoon. But something impossible happens. The air above the battlefield begins to shimmer and tear like fabric ripping apart. A sound like thunder splits the sky. Every soldier on the field, Roman and Carthaginian alike, freezes and looks up. The fabric of time itself opens. A blinding white portal explodes into existence 50 meters above the Roman right flank. Through it falls something that shouldn't exist for another 2,000 years. 100 United States Marines in full combat gear drop through the temporal rift. They hit the ground rolling, weapons ready, training overriding confusion. Staff Sergeant Marcus Rodriguez is the first to realize they're not in Afghanistan anymore. Let's pause and compare the forces. The Roman legionnaire is the apex predator of ancient warfare. He wears segmented steel armor called lorica segmentata that can stop arrows and sword strikes. His primary weapon is the gladius, a short stabbing sword designed for close combat in tight formations. He carries a large rectangular shield called a scutum, curved to protect his entire body. His secondary weapon is the pilum, a heavy javelin designed to punch through shields and armor at 30 meters. But his real weapon is training. Roman soldiers drill 8 hours a day, every day. They can form the testudo, an armored shell of overlapping shields that's nearly impenetrable to ancient weapons. They fight as a machine, not as individuals. 10,000 of these men is an unstoppable force in the ancient world. The United States Marine is something else entirely. He carries an M4 carbine, a lightweight rifle that fires 5.56 millimeter NATO rounds at 900 meters per second. Effective range, 500 meters. Rate of fire, 900 rounds per minute. Each Marine carries 210 rounds in 7 magazines. The weapon can punch through ancient armor like paper. His secondary weapon is the M249 squad automatic weapon, a belt-fed light machine gun that can fire 1,000 rounds per minute out to 800 meters. Every squad has 2 of these. Then there's the M203 grenade launcher attached under some M4s. It fires 40 millimeter high explosive grenades that create a kill radius of 5 meters. Each Marine also carries 4 fragmentation grenades. But the real difference isn't the weapons, it's the doctrine. Marines are trained to move, shoot, and communicate as independent fire teams. They don't need to see their enemy to kill him. They can engage at distances where Roman weapons are completely useless. Staff Sergeant Rodriguez's radio is dead. No satellite, no GPS, no communication with command. But his eyes work fine. He sees thousands of men in ancient armor staring at his Marines in shock. He sees standards with golden eagles. He recognizes them from history books. Roman legions. His mind races. Time travel. Impossible. But he's looking at proof. One of his Marines, Corporal Jackson, speaks up, his voice shaking. Staff Sergeant, where the hell are we? Rodriguez makes a decision. Formation, defensive perimeter, weapons hot. Do not fire unless I give the order. The Marines move instantly, muscle memory taking over. They form a circle, rifles pointed outward. Every man finds a sector. They're trained for this. Hostile territory. Unknown enemy strength. Await orders. The Romans are equally confused. Centurion Gaius Maximus commands the cohort closest to where the Marines appeared. He's a 20-year veteran who's fought in Spain, Gaul, and Africa. He's seen elephants, cavalry, chariots. He's never seen men appear from the sky wearing strange gray and green clothing. He's never seen weapons that look like black iron tubes. But his training also takes over. Unknown enemy appears in our lines. Could be Hannibal's sorcery. Must neutralize. He turns to his men and roars the command. Form testudo. Advance on the strangers. Capture them for questioning. 2 centuries, 160 men begin to move. They raise their shields and lock them together, forming a wall of wood and steel. It's an impenetrable shell that has conquered half the known world. They march forward in perfect step, shields overlapping, gladius swords ready to stab through any gap. Rodriguez watches them approach. He's studied ancient warfare at Marine Corps University. He knows what he's looking at. Testudo formation. Brilliant defensive tactic. Nearly impossible to break with ancient weapons. But he doesn't have ancient weapons. He raises his hand and calls out, Hold fire! Let them get close. Confirm hostile intent. The Marines finger their triggers but don't shoot. The training is strong. Rules of engagement. Identify target. Confirm threat. Engage. The testudo comes within 50 meters, still advancing. 40 meters. The Romans are chanting something in Latin. It sounds like a war cry. 30 meters. Close enough to throw their javelins. Rodriguez sees arms moving inside the formation. They're preparing to throw. That's hostile intent confirmed. He gives the order. Fire! 10 Marines open fire simultaneously. The sound is deafening in the ancient world. The crack of M4 carbines is like continuous thunder. The 5.56 millimeter rounds travel faster than sound. The Romans and the testudo don't even hear the shots before the bullets arrive. The results are catastrophic. Modern rifle rounds punch through Roman shields like they're made of paper. The wood splinters. The bullets continue through and strike the men behind. Steel armor might stop a sword or arrow. It doesn't stop a supersonic bullet. Men drop instantly. The neat formation collapses into chaos. The survivors break and run, their discipline shattered by weapons they can't comprehend. It took 5 seconds. 80 men down, the rest fleeing. Not a single Marine has moved from his position. The entire battlefield has stopped. 50,000 Carthaginians and 80,000 Romans stand frozen, watching. They heard the thunder. They saw the Romans fall without anyone touching them. They saw no arrows, no javelins, no slings, just noise and death. Hannibal himself watches from a hill. He's one of history's greatest tactical minds. He's used elephants, cavalry, ambushes, and psychology to defeat Rome again and again. But even he can't understand what he just witnessed. His interpreter, a Greek scholar, whispers, Lord Hannibal, perhaps the gods have sent demons, or perhaps Rome has angered Zeus himself. Hannibal doesn't believe in divine intervention, but he believes in opportunity. He sends messengers. Tell the army to hold position. Let's see what these strangers do. Rodriguez knows they're exposed. 100 men in the middle of a battlefield with over 100,000 ancient soldiers surrounding them. This is a tactical nightmare. He calls his squad leaders together. Listen up. I don't know how we got here, but we're here. We've got enough ammunition for maybe 30 minutes of sustained combat. After that, we're using our rifles as clubs. We need to find defensible terrain and figure out what the hell is happening. Corporal Jackson points to a low hill about 200 meters away. Staff Sergeant, that rise has good sight lines. We can dig in there. Rodriguez nods. Good. Squad leaders, we're moving to that position, bounding overwatch. First squad moves, second squad covers, then leapfrog, just like training. Let's go. The Marines begin to move. It's a thing of beauty. Half run toward the hill while the other half keep their rifles trained on the surrounding armies. Then they switch. It's textbook infantry tactics, executed perfectly. The Romans watch in confusion. These men move like no army they've ever seen. No formation, no shield wall, but somehow coordinated. Somehow deadly. The Marines reach the hill and immediately begin fortifying. They use their entrenching tools to dig firing positions. They clear fields of fire. They set up sectors with overlapping coverage. Within 10 minutes, they've turned the hill into a fortress. They have 360-degree visibility and excellent cover. Anyone approaching will be advancing uphill into prepared defenses. It's a good position. But now they have a new problem. Both armies are moving. The Romans, recovering from their shock, are beginning to advance. They outnumber the Marines 800 to 1. The Carthaginians are also moving, trying to flank the Romans, but getting closer to the Marine position. Rodriguez realizes they're about to be caught in the middle of history's bloodiest battle. He gets on his radio out of habit, forgetting it's dead. Then he remembers. He has to make decisions without command guidance. This is why they train Marines to think. He makes his call. Rules of engagement. We do not fire unless fired upon, or unless friendly forces are in danger. We are not here to fight Rome's war. We're here to survive and get home. Conserve ammunition. Aimed fire only. No full auto except the SAWs, and only on my command. The Battle of Cannae begins. The Roman center advances into Hannibal's trap. The Carthaginian lines bulge backward, absorbing the pressure. Then the African heavy infantry on the wings begins to turn inward. The envelopment is starting. Cavalry sweeps around the Roman rear. The trap is closing. And the Marines watch it all from their hill, like spectators at history's most violent sporting event. They can see it happening. The Romans are being compressed from all sides. Soon they'll be so tightly packed they can't even use their weapons effectively. It's a masterpiece of tactical planning, and it's about to become a slaughter. Rodriguez sees something else. A Roman cohort is being pushed back directly toward the Marine position. They're fighting desperately, shields locked, stabbing at Carthaginian infantry, but they're losing ground. In 2 minutes, the battle will sweep over the Marine hill. He has to make a decision, engage or relocate. He chooses to stand. This is defensible terrain. We hold. Prepare for contact from both sides. The first Romans reach the base of the hill. They're not attacking the Marines. They're running from Carthaginians. They scramble up the slope, desperate for any advantage. Then they see the Marines and freeze. One centurion, blood streaming from a cut on his face, stares at Rodriguez. He speaks in Latin. Rodriguez doesn't understand the words, but he understands the meaning. Help us. Before Rodriguez can respond, Carthaginian infantry crest the other side of the hill. They see the Romans. They see the strangers in strange clothes. They charge. They're screaming war cries, spears ready. This is it. The Marines can't avoid the fight anymore. Rodriguez gives the order. Engaging hostiles. Weapons free. The squad automatic weapons open fire first. The M249s roar. Belts of ammunition feed through at 1,000 rounds per minute. The effect on charging infantry is apocalyptic. Men drop in rows. It's not like the movies. There's no dramatic falling. They just crumple like puppets with cut strings. The charge breaks. Survivors dive for cover. The Romans on the hill watch in awe and terror. These strangers have weapons that kill with sound and smoke. The centurion makes a split-second decision. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. He turns to his men and shouts orders. Form line with the strangers. Protect their flanks. The Romans don't understand what the Marines are doing, but they understand killing Carthaginians. They form up on either side of the Marine defensive positions, shields locked, gladius ready. It's an odd sight. Ancient soldiers in red and bronze standing beside modern warriors in digital camouflage. But it works. The Marines have the range, the Romans have the close combat skill. Together, they hold the hill against 3 separate Carthaginian assaults. Each time, the Marines break the charge at distance with rifle fire. Any enemy who gets through faces Roman steel. But ammunition is becoming critical. Rodriguez does the math in his head. Each Marine started with 210 rounds. They fired roughly 100 rounds each. That leaves 11,000 rounds total. The 2 M249s have gone through 300 rounds each. That leaves 4,000 rounds in the belts. Total ammunition remaining, 15,000 rounds. That sounds like a lot. It's not. Not when you're surrounded by 50,000 hostile soldiers and another 80,000 who might turn hostile any second. Every shot has to count now. He passes the order. Aimed fire only. Single shot. No bursts. Make them count. The rate of fire drops. The Marines start acting like snipers, picking targets carefully. The Battle of Cannae is reaching its climax. The Roman army is completely encircled now. 70,000 men crushed into a space barely 200 meters across. They can't fight effectively. They can barely move. Hannibal's forces are methodically butchering them. It's not a battle anymore. It's an execution. The hill where the Marines stand is now an island in a sea of slaughter. Bodies carpet the ground in every direction. The Romans who rallied to the Marines, about 80 men, are the only cohort still fighting effectively. They realize these strangers are not enemies. They're the only reason they're still alive. Hannibal notices this too. From his command post, he can see one hill that hasn't fallen. One position that continues to throw back his troops. He can't see the details from this distance, but he knows something unusual is happening there. He sends one of his best commanders, a Numidian cavalry officer named Hannibal, to investigate. Take 200 cavalry, sweep that hill, kill everyone on it. Hannibal is one of Hannibal's most aggressive officers. He's the man who will later tell Hannibal that he knows how to win a battle, but not how to use a victory. He rides toward the Marine position with confidence. 200 cavalry against maybe 200 infantry on a hill. Easy work. Rodriguez sees them coming. Cavalry, moving fast. He's trained for this scenario. Cavalry charges are devastating against infantry in the open. But his Marines aren't in the open. They're in prepared positions on high ground, and they have rifles. He waits until the cavalry are within 300 meters. Then he gives the order. SAW gunners, engage cavalry, full auto authorized. The 2 M249 gunners open fire. The belt-fed machine guns roar. Rounds pour down range at 1,000 per minute. Horses are bigger targets than men, easier to hit. They start dropping immediately. Riders tumble. The charge collapses into chaos. Hannibal has never experienced anything like this. His horse is shot out from under him. He hits the ground hard. All around him, horses are screaming and dying. Men are falling without being touched by spears or arrows. The noise is inhuman. Continuous thunder. He's brave, but he's not stupid. He calls the retreat. The survivors flee. Out of 200 cavalry, maybe 60 make it back. Hannibal reports to Hannibal, "Lord, there is sorcery on that hill. The strangers have weapons that throw invisible spears. They kill at distances impossible for any bow. Our cavalry cannot approach." Hannibal listens carefully. Then he makes a decision that will change everything. Leave them. They hold one small hill. We have won the battle. 70,000 Romans are dead or dying. Let the strange warriors keep their hill. We march on Rome itself tomorrow. As the sun sets on Cannae, the battlefield goes quiet. The fighting stops. The Carthaginians begin the grim work of looting the dead. The Marines hold their hill surrounded by bodies. They've fired 18,000 rounds. They have 7,000 left, enough for maybe one more engagement. The Romans who fought alongside them, about 60 survivors now, treat the Marines like gods. The centurion approaches Rodriguez. He speaks in Latin, then tries Greek, then uses hand gestures. Rodriguez understands enough. "Thank you. You saved us." Rodriguez nods. The centurion points to himself and says his name slowly. Gaius Maximus. Rodriguez points to his name tape on his uniform. Rodriguez. Gaius tries to pronounce it. Rodriguez. Close enough. That night, the Marines and Romans share the hill. The Romans share food, hard bread and sour wine. The Marines share water purification tablets and MRE components. Neither group understands the other's language, but they understand respect. These Romans saw the Marines fight. They saw the impossible weapons. They saw discipline and courage. The Marines saw Romans hold the line against overwhelming odds, with nothing but shields and swords. They saw men fight to the last breath for their brothers. These are warriors. The specific technology doesn't matter. The brotherhood does. Rodriguez calls his squad leaders together. Situation report. We've got 7,000 rounds left, maybe 2 days of MRE rations, and no idea how to get home. We're stuck in the middle of ancient Italy with 2 armies that just fought the bloodiest battle in history. Options. The squad leaders talk it through. Option 1, try to link up with the Romans, but the Roman army just got destroyed. The survivors are scattered and broken. Option 2, try to negotiate with the Carthaginians, but they don't speak the language and just killed a bunch of them. Option 3, head for the coast and try to find a boat. But where would they sail? This is ancient Rome. There's no U.S. Navy coming to pick them up. Option 4, fortify this position and wait for the temporal rift to reopen. Maybe whoever sent them here will bring them back. Rodriguez doesn't like any option, but option 4 at least keeps them together and defensible. We hold this hill. We ration ammunition and food. We wait. And we make friends with the locals, because we might be here a while. Over the next 3 days, something interesting happens. Word spreads about the warriors on the hill who cannot be defeated. Roman survivors start arriving, first in 1s and 2s, then in groups. They're the remnants of Varro's army, men who escaped the slaughter. They come to the hill because it's the only place that's safe. The Carthaginians have declared the hill cursed and refuse to approach it. Within a week, there are 300 Romans camped on and around the marine position. Gaius Maximus acts as interpreter and liaison. He's learning English words. Rodriguez is learning Latin phrases. They're building something neither expected, a command structure that crosses 2,000 years. Hannibal sends an envoy on the 8th day, a Greek scholar who speaks Latin and can try to communicate with the strangers. The envoy approaches under a white flag of truce. Rodriguez meets him halfway down the hill, rifle slung but ready. The Greek speaks slowly in Latin. Gaius translates to English as best he can. The message is clear. Lord Hannibal, commander of Carthage's armies, wishes to know what the warriors want. Are they mercenaries? Can they be hired? Rodriguez thinks carefully. He needs to buy time. He needs these armies to leave his marines alone. He responds, "Tell Hannibal we are warriors from a distant land. We did not come here to fight his war. We want only to return home. We will defend this hill. We will not attack unless attacked. If Hannibal leaves us in peace, we leave him in peace." The Greek translates. He returns to Hannibal. Hannibal considers the message. He's a practical man. These strangers hold one hill. They've killed maybe 300 of his men. But he's won the greatest victory in history. He has bigger concerns, like marching on Rome itself. He sends back his response. Hannibal accepts these terms. The hill belongs to the strangers. He will leave them in peace, but if they fight for Rome, he will destroy them. Rodriguez accepts. It's the best deal they're going to get. The Carthaginian army breaks camp and begins the march north toward Rome. The Marines watch them go. 300 Romans watch with them. Gaius speaks quietly. Hannibal marches on Roma. The city will fall. Civilization will end. Rodriguez shakes his head. No. History says Hannibal never takes Rome. He wins battles, but loses the war. Gaius doesn't understand the words, but he hears the confidence. This strange warrior believes Rome will survive. That's enough for now. The Marines hold the hill for 37 days. In that time, more Romans arrive. The camp grows to 500 men. They're a mix of units, all survivors of Cannae. Gaius becomes the unofficial commander. Rodriguez teaches him basic tactics, how to use terrain, how to set up rotating guards, how to dig proper latrines to prevent disease. The Romans learn. They're fast learners, disciplined and smart. Rodriguez realizes something. These men conquered half the world with swords and discipline. Imagine what they could do with better technology and tactics. But he knows he can't teach them too much. History has to stay on course. Rome has to fall eventually. The Dark Ages have to happen. The Renaissance has to come. If he changes too much, everyone he knows might never be born. On day 38, it happens. The air shimmers, the same tearing sound they heard before. The temporal rift opens above the hill. This time, they're ready. Rodriguez gives orders. Marines, full gear, weapons ready. Prepare to move through the portal. He turns to Gaius. The Roman centurion has become a friend. Rodriguez wishes they had more time. He speaks slowly, knowing Gaius understands some English now. We have to go home. You have to rebuild Rome. Remember what we taught you. Fight smart. Protect your men. Win the war, not just the battle. Gaius understands enough. He clasps Rodriguez's arm in the Roman fashion. Rodriguez, you are a true Roman, even if you are not from Roma. May the gods protect you. Rodriguez smiles. Semper Fi, Gaius. always faithful. The centurion doesn't know what it means, but he nods, always faithful. The Marines form up, 100 men, minus 3 who were wounded in the initial fighting but survived. They march into the temporal rift. The light swallows them. The portal closes. Gaius and the 500 Romans stand on the hill, staring at empty air. The strangers are gone, but they left something behind. Knowledge, tactics, hope. Gaius looks at his men. He makes a decision. We return to Roma. We tell the Senate what happened here. We rebuild the legions, and we teach them what the warriors from beyond taught us. Rome will not fall. Not today. Not ever. 2,000 years later, historians study the Battle of Cannae. They note something odd. In all the ancient sources, there are references to a hill that didn't fall, a place where Roman survivors rallied. A centurion named Gaius Maximus, who later became a legendary trainer of legions. He taught tactics that seemed ahead of their time. Defensive positions, coordinated fire, rotation of forces. Some historians think he learned these tactics from someone else. But who? And when the Marines return to their own time, they bring back a single artifact, a Roman gladius, given to Rodriguez by Gaius. It's been carbon dated. It's real. 2,000 years old. But it has something Romans never had. A name etched in the pommel in English letters. Semper Fi. Always faithful. Someone in ancient Rome knew English. Someone taught a Roman centurion about Marine Corps values. History can't explain it, but the sword exists. The experiment is over. The Marines survived. The Romans survived. History stayed mostly on track, with a few unexplained tactical innovations in the later Roman Empire. And somewhere in the multiverse, there's a version of Rome that never fell. A Rome where a centurion named Gaius Maximus taught lessons learned from warriors of the future. A Rome that conquered not through the gladius, but through knowledge. But in our timeline, all we have is a sword and a mystery, and the knowledge that 100 Marines stood on a hill at Cannae and held the line. Outnumbered, out of time, but never out of courage. What do you think happens next? What other battles need warriors from the future? Drop your ideas in the comments below. Tell us what scenario you want to see next. Which ancient army faces modern weapons? Which historic defeat gets a second chance? Your idea could be our next video. Hit that subscribe button and join us as we break history and rebuild it. This is where the past meets the future, and the results are always explosive. See you in the next one.